On this day, the 17th of September, we stand tall as Lord Vassal resides over his domains of the card, dice, and boards. While many flock to his side, we are united beyond the reach of the shadow that the dice tower casts over the masses. We alone stand tall to deliver an unbiased review to all our loyal gamesmen and gamesladies and the hobby that we hold so dear. So when the Lord of the Cardboard Throne came forth with his game in hand, we were prepared to destroy him and expose the tyrant for what he truly is. But what happened once we played it? Stay with us, loyal gamers, as today we review Nothing Personal.
Dude, how much of those audiobooks have you been listening to?
I don't know, like about 50 hours or something.
You definitely got the Game of Thrones down.
Hold thy tongue, dog! Oh, damn, man. Yeah, I gotta stop it.
Welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous, a podcast about gamers and the insane fun we have at the table together. This week, we are talking about Nothing Personal, along with Smash Up, Suburbia, Quarriors Quarterfacts Expansion, and Citadels. I am Anthony, take your turn, Clicano.
Hey, yo, I'm Chris, cut your losses, Meepolini.
This is Dan, the caster, Dicelini.
And this is Kim, the Kiss of Death, Cardoni.
God, those are terrible
Wow,
names.
yeah, that was...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, our apologies to everybody.
Hey, look, just forget about it.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I will give you $2 if you don't do that for the rest of the review.
I'll give you $10 if you do it every time.
I'll give you all the dollars if we could stop right now.
Deal.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 5. It is September 17th, and as you might have guessed, we are talking about Nothing Personal this week. Before we get there, I just wanted to give a shout out to some of our new listeners. We've got people all over now, not just in New York and New Jersey. This is actually kind of cool. We logged on. I saw people in California, Canada, out in Washington. Got somebody in Chile, a couple in the UK.
Represent.
Yep.
Hey, how you doing?
I have nothing to base this on, but I'm definitely taking credit for the people in Canada.
All right.
I don't know. I'm huge there.
Are you?
Yeah, why not?
You have a secret fan base in Canada.
I visited once. I can only assume that they remembered my voice.
Wait a minute. Isn't your girlfriend from Canada? The one we never met?
Like, it could... We don't
Dan has
talk about her
secrets.
anymore.
Dan has secrets, guys. But yeah, definitely. Thanks for listening. And, if you haven't yet, give us a rating. Just pop us an email and a review. We want to hear how we're doing. We want to get your feedback on everything.
Hey, so let's get started, alright?
I thought we decided we weren't going to do that anymore.
Hey, I promise nothing.
I gave you all my dollars.
He gave all the dollars.
Exactly.
All right, guys, so we are 1 week closer to the Extra Life event on November 2nd, and we are bringing things together pretty quickly here. Just want to run through some of what we have planned and what we're working on.
Yeah, so we're putting together our team, or our gang, together for the event. So we'll actually have our 25 hours at Myriad Games at 1650 Richmond Avenue, Staten Island, New York. So there's still time to sign up for the event. We'll have sign-up sheets available at Myriad Games. You can also contact us through our Facebook page to get more information on how you can join us and make a donation through the Extra Life charity. We're putting together people for sponsoring hours of the games. So if there's a game that you really want to play, especially a game that plays over a number of hours and you just never got a chance to go to the table, this is a great opportunity because since we'll be there for 25 hours, you'll probably get maybe one game of Twilight Imperium in, or a Game of Thrones, which tends to last a couple of hours, or Rune Wars. That might be fun.
We definitely got to get a Rune Wars. And the other thing that's going to be really good about this is if there's a game you've been thinking about learning how to play, but you've never really been sure, you can't get your group together for it, maybe no one in your group owns it, be a great chance to come on down, check it out, see it played, jump in the table. Gives you a nice opportunity to actually spread your gaming, options instead of sticking to the 3 things you always play.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're working on a lot of stuff. We have a lot of, things in the works, some plans that we're still working on, but there's going to be a lot of surprises too. So there'll be a lot of gaming, obviously, but, we're going to try to have a raffle. We're working on an auction. We're working on getting some special guests in. We might even be recording that day if you want to come see us. record semi-live. So it's going to be a lot of cool stuff. It's going to be a big event, and it's all for a great cause. So it's definitely worth coming out. Check it out.
And I can't wait to see how we look around like hour 18 and hour 20.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you guys want to come in and see us like completely exhausted, because we're not even starting at like the 0 hour. We're probably starting like 3 hours before that.
Yeah.
So,
Like, welcome to the Fever Dream podcast where we do things with pieces of stuff. I just want to go home and go to bed.
why we're not eating pancakes yet? Who's bringing pancakes?
Said pancakes.
Nobody said pancakes.
So probably by hour 20 we'll be yelling at the meatballs. Why aren't they moving?
But it's going to be great, though. Like I said, I think the best option for this is going to be for people to meet others outside of their gaming group, come try out new things, and we can't wait to see you guys there.
Yeah, and if you are not in the New York, New Jersey area and you want to contribute or just keep up with things, follow us on Twitter or Facebook. We're going to be posting everything there, YouTube too. So you can follow along, you can be involved, you can donate. That would be fantastic. And just keep up to date with what's going on with this event.
And if anyone has a game that they would like to suggest via online, if they're not in the area and they want a game played and get our opinion on it, send us a message on Twitter, Facebook. Let us know what you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And every week we're going to have updates because we got like 6 weeks left, 5 weeks left. So this will be coming together quickly. Lots of information.
And we're expecting a pretty large turnout. So for the board game designers and producers out there and all those publishers, if they want us to get a game out there to a large group of people, be able to broadcast it, be able to review it, this would be a great time to get that word out as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, keep an eye on that because we're getting really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
And on another short event note, of course, there is the Seven Wonders Tournament at Myriad coming up for anybody in the New York, New Jersey area. It's the last Sunday of September, so it's coming up real quick. If you enjoy Seven Wonders and want to pop in and play with us, we'll be there. And if you've never played, you should come and you'll probably win. That seems to be how it works.
With you and Dixit.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Well, I own that game, so clearly I would not be winning.
Yeah, right.
I invite everyone to come and fight for second place because I'm coming in first.
Yep, we do. Everybody here has very little experience except for Chris, so it should be 1, 2, 3, 14.
No, I have to be just at the level where I don't make the final table.
You could get
because it's not as sour if that doesn't happen.
I have dubbed that term the Simmons Spotlight, where you're exactly one spot away from what it takes to be in the finals.
You're gonna patent that.
I'm going to.
Urban Dictionary.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, and you'll hear it many more times.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that's the last Sunday. That's the 29th of September. Also, very recently, in another tournament news.
Yeah, for once I did not get the Simmons Spotlight. I got the Spotlight. HeroClix tournament. It was the Fear itself, sealed, constructed. I have played HeroClix for about 18 minutes prior to that tournament. Decided to give it a try, see what was it like. And somehow I actually got second place. Won an Odin miniature, which apparently is worth several tens of thousands of dollars from what we gather. And traded it off to a friend of mine who seems to really appreciate it. So Andrew can now run rampant with the power of a god. And I got myself a couple of the guys that have the Thor hammers, which again is from a comic series that I still have to Wikipedia to catch up on. But it was awesome to play.
Yeah, every single character you guys bring out, I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
And I've read comics. It's not like I'm coming from nowhere. Just there's so many of these things.
Yeah, I'm looking at HeroClix. I'm like, this looks cool. This looks cool. This looks even cooler. And that was all I used to make my team.
Apparently, that is the strategy to use.
Well, the one thing I like is HeroClix is a base miniature combat. Each hero will have multiple powers that the clicks will tell you what they use. So the game is actually a little easier to play than I anticipated. But my favorite part, hands down, one power is called probability control. You force rerolls. And if there's one thing I love, is that random chaos element. So every time it's like, hey, I hit your guy, reroll. I'm attacked, you missed, reroll.
Yeah, but now I can shut you down with my new Bioshock Infinite HeroClix. Elizabeth and Booker DeWitt can actually stop all that. So I think it's kind of broken, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and what's awesome is the name of the power is like Masters of Their Own Fate.
Nice.
Which ties in awesomely to the video game.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I just love that you can play Bioshock Infinite versus Street Fighter versus Marvel versus whoever. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and speaking of the Street Fighter, the best thing is the way that I learned to play the game, our friend Mike Miley, who, by the way, also makes an amazing capo and nothing personal.
Literally the best.
Yeah. He taught me how to play, and it was great. Like, he made it was very intuitive. He showed me even easier ways of transitioning, and how to get a little more strategy going on. So I was really thankful to him. I want to say, Mike, it's because you I won, man.
What's awesome that I heard about is WizKids is coming out with Batman, the classic TV series HeroClix. So everyone who is a fan of the old Adam West Batman, they'll be able to play as the Joker. And what's cool is they actually have like this little thing coming out of him, and it's a zap. And other characters have like pow and bang and like just like old comic booky. It's really awesome. And by the time this podcast comes out, it'll probably already be out. September 18th is the release date, unless they change it. Hopefully not. But I can't wait for that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of miniature combat games, one other thing that I saw is Crossmasters Arena has 3 more character packs available. They got the Earth and Winds pack, Close Quarters, and the Gold Hard Control. It's finally one of the packs that shows a new model scale. Most of the other packs, it's just, recolor a different hat or a different weapon or whatever. So this is one of the first totally new sculpts, which looks pretty good. And all these things are available on miniaturemarket.com. And it's not too bad. Normally Crossmasters is $28 a pack. So you're looking at over $80 if you want to get all 3. But you go to Miniature Market, it's only $60. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a huge drop.
Yeah, that's definitely where I'm going to go to hit these up. So.
And you can't find those anywhere else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that sells out really quick. You look at it, you think it's simple, and you're like, oh, well, who really is buying it? Those numbers fly off the shelf pretty fast. So I would definitely say go online and put an order in now. MiniatureMarket.com. We're not sponsored by them yet, but we're hoping.
And now it's time for Acquisition Disorder Corner. What's got our eyes this week, guys?
Right, there's a lot of great stuff coming out, or just recently came out that we got our eye on. I know one that I've seen around Myriad a lot. A few people have been playing it. A couple people picked it up recently. Is Takenoko. Chris, you were just telling me about this, today, I think.
Yeah, I had an opportunity Sunday night. Our friend Andrew broke that out, and it's really a fun, great game by Anton Bauza. And if you've ever played Tokaido, you probably have a good familiarity what this game is like. The game is based upon the Chinese emperor giving a panda to the Japanese emperor, and as a player, you have to provide the panda with bamboo and the best living environment. So you get a weather die which you roll, and depending on where the die ends up, you'll be able to do a special power and ability. You also get different abilities that you can do to benefit the panda. So there is watering certain areas, placing tiles, growing bamboo, and actually moving the panda to eat the bamboo. Now, this all adds up because you actually have victory point cards. So some of the victory point cards are based upon how certain lands are laid out, how many stalks of bamboo have been grown, how many pieces of bamboo has been eaten by the panda. So it's a lot of different ways to score points. Really quick, really easy, kind of cartoony, has great artwork, a lot of fun. You can play with a lot of different ages.
Quick question. You mentioned the dice that you would roll for the weather condition. Is it almost like garden dice or Flashpoint, or is it totally different system?
Yeah, you just have this one wooden die where it has a sun, it'll have wind, it'll have rain.
Oh, okay. So it's symbols, not... all right, cool.
Yeah, and that die lets you do something different each time. So if you get wind, you'll be able to use your ability twice. If you get sun, you'll get to use an extra ability. So it's a lot of fun.
That sounds pretty awesome.
This is going to sound like a weird question, but can you kill other players' pandas?
Why would you do that?
I'm just wondering.
What is wrong with you, woman?
How do you win? You gotta eliminate the competition.
Well, it's a victory point game, and what you're looking to do is whoever gets 7 victory point cards completed first gets a little Emperor card, which is worth 2 points, and then everyone finishes that round, and whoever has the most victory points wins.
So you can't just
no
eliminate
mass
them.
murder.
We
They
can't
should
mass
make
murder.
Wow, I'm totally calling
saying.
PETA on you
I'm
now.
sorry.
They should make it like they should do almost like a pandemic expansion where somebody is trying to get the panda eliminated so they're even more extinct. This way their panda's worth that much more later on in the next game.
You guys are dark.
Yeah.
Or it should be like Outbreak when the monkey spreads the disease. You got one panda that just spreads the disease, and you got to find that one panda.
Wow, well, way too many dark games for you people.
Have you guys played Tokaido?
Not even a little.
Nope.
It's like a game about sightseeing and eating sushi.
It's pretty much.
Well, that's why you should get the game, man, so we can finally get a chance to play it.
And what's really fun is there's a really obscenely ornate version with giant pandas, giant bamboo stalks, which you can also get, which comes at a pretty fancy price tag, but it's a lot of fun.
Is that out yet?
I think
It was
so.
a pre-order, I know, a couple weeks ago. It was like big wood box, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you actually stack the bamboo up and everything?
You do, and it's pretty tall. I think
I want to play it.
the Watch It Played series is actually playing through it right now,
Oh, that's
and they
awesome.
have the big set.
And we can get Nick because it's bamboo, not wheat.
Haha!
I want it.
There's no gluten. It's a gluten-free game.
Sounds awesome, man. I mean, for me, like, I'm definitely looking at this game, Masquerade. It's from Asmodee Games, who also did Spirium, and I can't wait to get that. It sounds pretty interesting. It's like it's in the Renaissance, and you're attending a party. You have, like, an identity card that you hide from other players, but there's bluffing elements. You can fake that you're another person. So if you know, like, you're the king or something, like, I haven't gotten to get full detail in the game, but say you know who you are, you can fake that you're someone else, and someone can call your bluff, in which case then you're out. But if you are who you claim, then they're eliminated. You can use an action to switch cards with other people. It sounds pretty fun, and it plays pretty quick. It's only about like a half-hour game, so I like the idea of like another one of those fillers. Like, I'm loving these quick games that we get in while we're waiting for the next round, if nothing personal, or you're waiting another hour for someone to finish out Takenoko or something. It's pretty good for games like that. So this is definitely something that's been on my radar.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people comparing it to kind of Citadel's kind of style game, like an expansion of that whole hidden role type thing. And I've been playing that a little bit lately. We're going to talk about it later, but that alone has me interested. Also, the short, like, it's quick, right? So
Yeah,
30 minutes makes it even more enticing just to toss in the
Yeah, and it sounds
You'll
like
go
simple components. Like, it's not a loaded box. You're not dishing out tons of pieces. So sometimes it's nice to play those like smaller surface area games too.
I have a cool question. What would happen if Quarriors and Magic the Gathering had a baby?
I would be poor in about an hour.
Well, this is my acquisition disorder, which pretty much will put us in the poorhouse. There is going to be a Marvel Dice Masters. It works like Quarriors, and it's a 2-player game, and you build up your team, and it's Marvel characters, and I believe they're actually doing X-Men also. I mean, Avengers.
Yeah, the Avengers versus X-Men.
Avengers
comic
versus
series.
X-Men, yeah. So that should be awesome. The starter set will probably have like about 44 dice, 2 dice bags, and then they're gonna have an expansion, which this is gonna make it even worse. 60 dice, but it's all random.
Great.
Oh my god. So I'm just going to take a wild stab here. This is WizKids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's like they're not
They
making
want
enough
all
money.
of our money.
This will be coming out December 4th. So at least
great.
Christmas time.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least it's not
Christmas
close to
present.
any holidays where you have to worry about saving money for your families and loved ones.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I got you some dice building game components. Oh, you don't want them? I'll just take those back.
Sorry, Ma. Oh god.
What do you mean you don't like the Avengers? Well, I'm just gonna take them if you're so ungrateful.
It was for you. I don't know.
Oh, but I also have to mention Cryptozoic is making a Archer board game.
Yeah, we saw that. There's no details on it yet, but it's Archer. I mean, you can't go wrong with that as long as Cryptozoic doesn't do their usual art style to the game.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope and assume that it's going to be Archer art style.
Yeah.
And then somehow, I guess, hopefully they can translate that. Because a lot of the humor in that show is the delivery of the lines, How do you translate that to cards or whatever they're
Yeah,
doing?
to a board game. I don't know, but I'm curious, man. Like, between that and they're also doing the Adventure Time card game, Cryptozoic has some good stuff on the future.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of good IPs.
Oh, I can't wait for the Adventure Time. I want to be the pig.
Yeah.
When we have our Wheat Wars.
Yeah. Corn Wars.
Oh, yeah, Corn Wars. That's what it was.
Oh, no, it's called Card Wars, but I thought Jake said Corn Wars.
Now, I mean, this week I definitely have to mention the new X-Wing stuff that came out, Wave 3. Anybody who's playing X-Wing's probably seen them. And get my shout out here before they sell out, since every wave sells out before anybody can pick them up. But so I think there's 4 new ones. We've got a TIE Bomber, the Lambda Shuttle, which is the big expansion, the $30 one, the B-Wing, and then the HWK 290, which looks awesome. So forget the boring name. A lot of new stuff there. Haven't played with them yet, so I can't give you a review. I just know it's X-Wing. These are amazing models. It's Fantasy Flight. There's a lot of new weapons and ways to customize your ships coming in there. I saw a couple of them the other day. Somebody at the store had just picked them up, and he was opening them up. and they look as great as always for Fantasy Flight. So that's definitely on my radar very soon.
Yeah, what was the name of that one? The Lambda Shuttle or something?
Yeah, I think it's the one that shuttles the Emperor around.
Yeah,
in the movies.
one of the guys at the store was picking that thing up. It looks awesome when it's folded out. I mean, these are decent sized models. I like the size of what they're giving you for the price. And we also got a TIE Bomber on the way. It should be in the mail shortly.
Yeah,
So,
gotta love the TIE bombers.
yeah, man, anything that goes with Vader's side, I'm in.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but
As long as the bad guys win, I'm happy.
this is a natural balance we have here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Chris, Anthony, I gotta ask you guys, out of the miniature games, which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars?
I mean, I'm a Star Wars guy. It's got to be Star Wars.
Oh, it's got to be Star Trek. Have you not seen the prequels, man?
I mean, just look at the minis. Just the quality difference. You've got the character. It's so much better on the Star Wars side.
Yeah, but with the attack, when you have a full crew, you have all these scenarios, you have these additional play pieces, it adds a lot more flavor to the game.
And it takes like 4 hours.
But it's a lot more flavor.
All right, let me ask you guys this. Does the game work on a similar system?
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same.
All right, so why don't you guys duke it out, and then we'll finally find out once and for all who's better.
I suppose we could do that.
I think so. Although I think we know where Dan's going to go.
Yeah.
Battlestar.
The Galacticos are just going to fly and throw down.
Do I have to say earmuffs? Because I didn't finish that.
Someone's jealous he doesn't have little miniature fly guys.
That's the ultimate fanfic.
I'm sorry, guys. Star Trek and Star Wars are not quite dark enough for me. There's still people alive at the end of those movies. So.
Wait, people die in Battlestar?
What?
Spoilers!
All right, and there's one more thing I wanted to mention real quick is I picked up, because it was just on sale, I saw it at Barnes & Noble yesterday, it was Battles of Westeros, which is a Battlelore game, and I only mention it because Battlelore 2.0 is coming out, I don't know, in a month or two. So now I'm going to learn the first system, we're going to get that, and we get to learn the new system. So
Because I'm going to get that.
we got 3 months of Battlelore coming up.
Why are you ruining our pockets?
I bought that, so I took one hit.
It's gonna not have any money by the time it comes to Christmas.
I know. The one thing I feel really bad about, though, is some guy that looks a lot like me is going to probably steal that on Sunday. Because the fact that it's Game of Thrones miniature combat, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I saw it sitting on the clearance shelf, and I was like, "There's no way this is still here." And actually, they still have 2 sitting there too on the shelves.
What?
Don't
So-
tell him that. What are you doing?
I already have it now. We'll pop it out.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I was digging through the book. It's like 40 pages. It's like Rune Wars book. This is going to take some time. But
Yeah, I mean, it's Fantasy Flight, so it has that same theme, but oh my god, the board looks good, the components, so many... It's just like many miniatures as Rune Wars 2.
it's 138 minis.
It's not too bad. It's,
Yeah, and then there's some leaders, and it's just Stark versus Lannister.
Yeah.
But I think there's a Baratheon House expansion too, which is another $60, and I'm not going to get that right
Pass.
now. But
I think there's actually a House Tully too. That's the thing we saw in Myriad Games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
there's-
few expansions.
there's like mini expansions that go with these 2 houses. So there's a couple. I think there's like Wardens of the Rock or something like that for Lannisters, and there's the Tullys for the Starks. So there's a few like that. But anyways, great game leading into Battlelore 2.0, and obviously we have way too much to play. So let's get to the stuff we did play and what we think of it.
At the table this week.
I finally got a chance to break out Quarters again. I haven't played that game in a long time, but we decided to play Quarters with the Quarterfax expansion. Now, Quarters is a dice building game where instead of your usual deck builder, you're buying dice. So there's a little bit more of a randomness to it because you're not guaranteed your results when you go. But in the game of Quarters, you're standardly attacking other players every turn, and that's how you score your glory points. You destroy your opponent's creatures, they survive to the beginning of your turn, you get your points. Quarterfax adds a lot more to the game. They actually have quests now that you can send your creatures on. And it's almost like a battle arena. Instead of you only attacking when it's your turn, anytime the creatures go in there, they're just duking it out. At the beginning of your turn, instead of scoring like you normally would, you have to have a certain level of creatures inside of that zone. If you do, you score an amount of quest points based on the quest you have, and you get a special die that's associated to that quest. And these things give you huge bonuses. You might be getting 4 extra quiddy. You might be getting to draw 3 additional dice from your bag to roll for the next turn, giving you a huge edge. You can even get special weapons that are unique to only these quest dice. It's pretty nice because it gives a little more strategy to the game. Before, when you played, we have all the expansions, so there's like lock monsters and new creatures, but it was always like, I swing at you, you swing at me. Nothing exciting. With the quest now, it's a little more strategy to a game that relied a little bit more on luck in the past. So you get to feel a little more spread on the game. It's definitely fun.
It's such a different take on the whole deck building model, but it's familiar and easy if you've only ever played card deck building games. And there's a lot of people now who are kind of taking on that whole dice building aspect, but they did it first. And this particular expansion, I think, is one of those kind of necessary ones. Like, once an expansion hits, and then you're just like, it needs to be in the game all the time, because it just adds that element that, honestly, vanilla Warriors was always a little like, okay, it's fun, but I don't feel the urge to play it multiple times at once.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we would play a game of Warriors, and that was it. This one, we've actually played a couple of games in a row, which was nice, because everyone felt like, oh, wait, that's what that dice does? Oh, well, I got to start doing that quest now. And if they didn't get to secure that dice in their game, they wanted to play again just to roll the golden dice or just to roll the demon dice. So it was pretty nice for that. Personally, I've always liked Warriors. That little bit of randomness gives it a fun edge, and new players have a good chance with that. It's not like it's set in stone who's going to do what, so new players get to adapt strategies. The Quarterfact expansion is definitely a must-buy when you get this game. I would say you should definitely check this game out, and if you have Warriors, without a doubt, Quarterfacts is a must-buy.
Yeah, I would go the exact same thing. If I would put Warriors on the play to buy list, I don't think it's a must-buy for me, the base game, but if say I had the base game, or if you did, somebody I know did, I would say absolutely buy Quarterfacts, because it makes the game that much better.
Yeah, definitely the Quarterfax expansion, for me at least, makes the game. As Dan was saying, you play Warriors, like, oh, that was kind of interesting. You get to see these little tiny dice, and you kind of did the same thing each turn. But the Quarterfax adds so much flavor, so much life, those big chunky dice that you get to use, and adds really a new dimension to the game. And it's just, I guess, fun to say all those Warrior Qua kind of names.
It's like the quest for the Holy Quail and Excalibur. It's quaffle.
It's totally quaffle.
Yeah. It's puncast material.
Pretty much, yeah.
So for me, that's, if you can pick up the expansion with the base set, that's a buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely try it out, but I wouldn't try the game out without the Quarterfax expansion, because I think it adds so much to the game, and it's not going to be hard for a new player to pick up, that's really something you should go in and play the game with right at the start.
Yeah, it's not one of those games that takes, an hour to learn and then tack an hour on for the expansion. It's an easy game, and you're adding one new element, but it's a great element.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't play the base game without the expansion. Now, there's a number of other expansions for Warriors, but I gotta say, of all the expansions we played, this is the best.
What's also cool about the game is they have a new dice, the Squire dice, so he can accompany you on a quest, and he boosts other creatures' powers. So I like that. I like the game Warriors. I would have to rate it a play it and probably a must buy, but with all the expansions, it could add up for your wallet. So I would say play it.
All right, so that's a play for all of us, and definitely check that one out.
Yeah, we mentioned, I think last week we mentioned Smash Up, so we're going to go a little more in-depth on that one. Chris, you've been playing that recently, right?
Yeah, that's a great game. So we talked a little bit about it last week because High Command has similar kind of game mechanics for that. So if you never played Smash Up before, it's actually taking two random decks of cards, 20-card decks, and smashing them together, shuffling them together, and then you would be playing them on bases. So as the game starts, you'll pick or randomly choose different types of themes. So they have dinosaurs, they have zombies, they have ninjas, they have aliens, pirates, robots, a whole bunch of different genres that we all love. And you'll get to pick two of those, mix them together, and then what you have in front of you is different base cards. So it's one extra base for the number of players playing. So if you have 3 players, you'll be playing with 4 different bases. And on each base card, there'll be a number. And when that number breaks, the person who breaks that, the first player, whoever had the most number of points on that card, will get the first position. Typically, that scores the most amount of points, and then lower, and then down to third, which is the lowest.
Yeah, and basically it's every monster or creature will have a point value, and that total point value is what you need to reach or pass that to break that area. So if an area has an 18-point threshold, once there's 18 points or more of monsters, that's when it breaks, and you find out who wins it.
Yeah, and each of the different races have different abilities that fit their themes. So robots, you can throw a lot of them on there really quickly. They multiply. They're usually low points, whereas dinosaurs are really on high points and big numbers that you can throw down each card. And it's a number of different kind of ways to play. So pirates are kind of sneaky, and they come hit you at the end. Ninjas do have different techniques. But basically, you're playing pretty much two actions. You're putting down a minion on a base, and you're playing an action. So that's it. A minion and an action. Now, you might have some cards that let you do multiple actions or play multiple minions, but to start with, you're playing those two cards. It's pretty simple, pretty quick, pretty cartoony, a lot of fun to play because you can play with a number of people. But basically, we found usually keep it to about 4 players as far as the game's concerned. Otherwise, it gets a little out of hand trying to count up all the cards there. So you play the cards, you score the bases, the first person to 15 wins the game.
About as simple as it gets. Yeah. And it's, you look at the box the first time, if you've never heard about it ever, and you think this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, but then you play it once, you're like, wow, it's a genius.
Yeah, it suffers puzzle strike syndrome, where you look at the box and you're like, pass, and then you play, you're like, why did I never play this before?
Yeah. And when they start doing the expansions, you can see the kind of sense of humor of it just on the box already.
Oh, yeah.
Like the level 9,000 awesome, whatever they called it.
The expansion for awesome level 9,000 for your Dragon Ball Z fans.
And my favorite thing in that expansion was the bears. Like,
Yes,
hands down, my favorite card was Bear Rides You.
Yeah, the Bear Cavalry is a favorite. Everyone kind of grabs for that, too.
Yeah, they're a little overpowered, but it's so much fun. Like, just sending in bears for no reason. Like, yeah, why not? Let's ride bears.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, even your teams are pretty amusing. Like, I had zombie bears. You know, there's 2 teams that you can imagine getting along pretty well, and the other was ghost dinosaurs.
But then, once again, very thematic. So the zombies, even when they get taken off the board, they go back to your discard pile, and they can come back on the board, come back from the dead again, which is fun.
Yeah, and zombifying that bear cavalry was even better.
Yes. Now, some of the smash ups work a little bit better than others. I had one smash up that was ghost plants. So
does not work.
Does not work. So ghosts benefit by having very few cards in your hand, and plants benefit by having a lot of cards in your hand. So the whole game, I'm trying to add cards, take away cards.
And you were stuck in the middle the whole way through.
I was. So my ghostly plants didn't know where to go.
Yeah. So what would you guys say? You know, obviously the bears are awesome, but like if you're going to pick any 2 decks in the base game and expansion, we'll throw them all in. Which 2 would you pick?
I mean, I like the zombie bears. I did go with them, but I feel like steampunk bears is something I want to try next.
Ooh, steampunk bear is pretty cool.
Yeah, steampunk is pretty sweet. I like that thematic a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've always played with some variant of bears. I like ninjas a lot. I like the ability of just, like, you can place a guy down and kind of pull him up and place down a more powerful guy.
Yeah, like the smoke bomb or something.
Yeah.
You did it a couple of times to me.
Yeah, and then there's another guy, I think, in there who you can throw down while you're scoring. So you can put a few points on there and pretend you're somewhere else, and when they go to score, you're like, bam, I get points.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one too. That wasn't good.
Ninjas are nice.
Yeah, the Bear Cavalry is definitely everyone's favorite. I also enjoyed the alien robot combination because the aliens, they actually score points on their own. Plus the robots, you just keep throwing them out continuously as the game goes on.
Yeah, robots chain really well. What about you, Kim?
Oh, I feel bad. I do not like this game at all. You know what's weird is when we talked about the War Machine High Command game, where it's basically like Smash Up, it's controlling a location. I like that better than Smash Up. For some reason, the theme of it, like, you know, ghosts and pirates and bears, for some reason it just doesn't interest me. I don't know why.
I remember when we were playing, it seems like you were having more fun just like destroying everyone else's plans, and actually like you weren't getting into it too much. So she was using aliens and like doing the crop circles where it just removes everyone and puts a new land in the area.
Well, what's weird is I remember playing it, but I don't remember what I was playing. All I can remember is, yeah, I played Smash Up. What were you playing? People? I don't know.
Aliens, huh?
It didn't stick with me because I don't think it's my kind of game.
Yeah, it is all over the place, and some people that just doesn't work for them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I find that if I'm not in the mood for it, I have a lot less fun. There have been a couple times I've played, and I'm like, why are we doing this? It's just to play time. But if you're a group of friends that, having fun with it, and you're reading the flavor text and the cards, Bear rides you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, like one game I was playing, I had the Wizard Pirates. And, somebody was watching the game and they're like, oh, why are you those guys? And I'm like, oh, that's my team. And they're like, no, but I mean, why would they work together at all? Like, it was a little, I guess his mindset was a little too serious for a game like that.
Yeah.
So, it's, like I said, it's not everyone's cup of tea. But the one thing that is nice is if you play 3-player, it's a little fast. Again, it could be a good filler for, a 3-player game.
Yeah, it's a really quick game.
It's definitely a random game in the new expansion coming out. Maybe you can grab Kim, which would be the obligatory Cthulhu expansion. Ooh. Tentacles. There you go.
All right.
Sound interested? Yeah.
I was gonna say, if it was the obligatory Tento Bento expansion for that game, then it would be.
If it had anime, yeah, I might play it. But tentacles, it has to have anime. Tentacles.
An anime expansion actually could work for that.
Could work really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can.
Plenty of anime stereotypes you can throw in there.
You have to give us free copies if you do that. We call dibs. We claim this.
That's our idea.
That's our idea.
Copyright 2013, Board Gamers Anonymous. So, what do you guys think rating-wise?
Well, I really like this game. It's definitely a play for me. The expansions have been really a lot of fun. It's definitely a random kind of game, so depending on the combinations you have, you'll either do really well or might be a little bit stunted. So definitely play, see if you like it. If you do like it, you'll definitely kind of move up to a buy.
Oh, I think you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm either dodging it or burning it.
Fair enough.
If you guys pull it out, I'll be like, yeah, I'll see you later. Go to McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's a game that's good to have in your gaming group. It's a really good idea to push a friend to kind of buy that game. Maybe you'll pick up an expansion. Well, you can pick up an expansion to help on the cost, or if everyone throws in like $10 together or something. It's not a must-buy, but it's kind of fun, different game. It's a little different type of filler game every so often. So give it a try.
So we have a new rating, the make a friend buy.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I might actually go with that. I think I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm not going to buy this game, but I would play it as many times as it comes out. So it's fun. It's funny. There are certain people, though, if it came out, and not like that there's anything wrong with these people, just personality-wise, I know that it would not be as much fun.
Yeah, it's a bad game to play with someone that's aggressive.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Why are you taking my area? It's part of the game, right?
Yeah, this is how we play. Also, these cards are ridiculous. So, or like someone who doesn't understand how two would go together, like dinosaurs and pirates. Yeah. Those are from completely different epochs. That doesn't make any sense.
How do the ghosts even talk to robots? I don't understand.
Are they pirate ghosts or ghost pirates? Which one happened first?
So yeah, I mean, Smash Up. It's a great game if it comes out. Play it. If I don't know. I don't think any of us necessarily think you should buy it, but unless it sounds amazing, because it does play like it sounds.
And it's a quick game. It's a good filler game, something to throw together, and the combinations are kind of endless.
Yeah, and they're just going to keep pumping out expansions because it's crazy popular, and there's so many options. Another game we talked about last week or the week before was Poison, which is kind of one of those trick-taking games that actually works, unlike those pesky garden gnomes. Let's not go down that path again. Dan's getting irate. So
he's having
purple guys.
He's having a gnome flashback.
PTSD.
Vietnam.
Puncast strikes again. But Kim, you were playing Poison recently, right?
Yes, I played Poison recently. We actually got a version that came with these really nice cauldrons, like these thick cardboard cauldrons. So what we do is we place the red, blue, and purple cards on them. And then you have green cards, which are the poison cards. And I believe they're 4 points.
4 points towards the cauldron, 2 points on scoring.
Yes, that's right. And the scoring is a little weird. Like, I had trouble with the scoring because I'm not so well with the math. But, it's great because when I sit next to somebody like Chris...
Whoa, no, don't sit next to me. No, don't do that. I want to win. Why would you sit next to me? No.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. But you can screw somebody over so bad on it You can just put down like a poison card on something has like 13 on it, right?
Yeah, so if it hits 13, then it's just about to break. So what a lot of times was happening was you were filling each of the cauldrons up to 13, which meant that no matter what card I had to take something. So that was always kind of tough. Plus, if you know someone's collecting a certain color and you throw a poison on it, then you know they're going to have to take the poison too, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, I love this game. And I don't actually like trick-taking games generally. And people look at me funny because they're like, "Oh, they're simple, they're easy, they're quick." I'm like, I don't know. They just rub me the wrong way. But I like poison for some reason. I can't actually pinpoint why exactly. I think it's just because I feel like I have a little more control over the math of it. I can think through it. And sometimes you get, if there's enough people and it rotates the right way, you can get stuck taking cards 3 or 4 rounds in a row, but because you can just load up on one color if you're smart about it, you can really mitigate your score.
It's just always rough when it comes around to every cauldron has 13. It's about to break. There's a poison in each and every color. You just stare and go, it's like that old classic question, do you want it in the head or in the gut?
Yeah, there are those rounds, and that's actually the one reason I don't like trick-taking games is those moments. I feel like in this game you have just a little more control than some other games.
Yeah.
It's not random at all, so it's not like something like Chronicle where it just feels like anything's going to happen and you'll get whatever cards you get. But there are those moments, and they do suck. Game does take a little while too if you play to the full 50 points. So
yeah, sometimes you play lesser point scoring. One of the things I like about it is it almost suffers not suffers, but it has Hanabi syndrome, where it's like, oh, let's play again. What do you mean it's been 4 hours? It's a very easy, small talk, like beer and pretzel style game where you don't even know how long you've been playing until you get hungry and realize it's dinner time.
Yeah, and you're like, I came here to play 5 games today. We played 1 that I've played 800 times before.
For some reason, I just keep getting the most points out of everybody. I just keep hitting the 24, 25 mark. I never go higher than that. I'll go from 21 to 25, and everyone's like, "Oh, I got 3, I got 10."
Yeah, the only
25.
The only thing you gotta do is you gotta spread out your colors a little more. Because I notice every so often you'll deadlock yourself into only having 1 color hand at the end of the game, where you'll have 5 red cards, and you're just constantly picking up that cauldron. So people are like, poison, poison, poison.
I'm so confused. When I first played it, I was like, "Yeah, I got the most points," and I was like, "Well, the most points loses." I'm like, "Oh. Okay, I played that wrong," but every time I play it, for some reason, I just immediately go for the higher points, and I'm like, "Yeah, you got 25, you lose." Oh, damn.
Those are counterintuitive games.
But it's a fun game. We play with a huge bunch of people, different people every time, and everyone gets a kick out of it.
It's fun like Parade.
No.
Going down that road again.
Plus, the one other thing that's pretty good with Poison is it's one of those games, if you break out and you're like, hey, you guys want to jump in for Poison? People will do it. It's a game that very few people turn down.
Yeah, most people seem to know how to play it, it takes 2 minutes to teach.
Yeah, one hand and they're on.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rate it a must-buy and definitely play. It's a good, I would say party game because you can get a whole bunch of people in it. So, I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to play on this. I wouldn't buy it, but that's because I don't like trick-taking games in general. I don't really feel the need to have one in my collection. But I would play it. There's some games I avoid when they come out, and this is not one of them. So I enjoy it. So definitely a play for me.
Nice. What about you, Chris?
It's definitely a play for me, and I can actually see buying this game. I'm a hearts player, so it's definitely something that kind of fits in the genre of games I play, and something you can play with family pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's we even brought this over to other couples' house, if we're going for dinner or something like that. It's a pretty easy game to teach. And my favorite part is we got 3 big cardboard cauldrons in the box that we got with it, and no coasters. So that's a huge bonus. So for this was a good buy for us.
Yeah. Or the really big coasters.
Yeah.
Good Halloween
for bowls
coasters.
of soup.
Yeah. Soup coaster.
Yeah, I like the Halloween coasters.
So one more game I want to talk about, and somehow this is the only Fantasy Flight game on the podcast today for being reviewed. I'm not actually sure how that happened, but it's Citadels, and this is a game that I picked up not too long ago, so we've been playing it a little bit more frequently. But it's it's one of those hidden roll type games where you everybody draws a roll at the beginning of the game. There's 8 of them in the deck, and then depending on how many players there are, certain ones are removed at the beginning of the game, so you can't count the cards to see who everybody is. Each of the rolls has a special ability, and they range from... They're numbered, and then when they resolve, they're going to resolve in order by those numbers. But they range from, like, you have an assassin who can select any other character and kill them. He's the one. The thief can do the same thing, but they steal all the money. There's the magician who can either exchange his entire hand of cards with another player, or
he can also discard his cards to draw that many new cards.
That's right, yeah. The king gets 1 gold for every yellow district in a city.
And you also get a first player marker.
And you get to keep the first player marker. So there's often a little bit of fighting over the king.
Yeah.
Also a lot of assassinating of the king. So he gets killed a lot too. The bishop's going to get gold for all the blue districts. And he's also very usefully immune to the warlord, which the warlord can be kind of a pain later in the game.
Yeah, because the warlord, when you go, you can pay to destroy buildings. And in a game where the goal is to be the first one to build 8 city district buildings, and then somebody's a warlord just taking you out, always stopping you at 7, it's a little hard to win.
Yeah. So if you maybe you're getting close to winning, pulling the bishop every time makes sense. The merchant, you're going to get extra gold for all your green districts, and you get additional gold after you take an action. Architect can draw extra cards, and he can build 2 districts in any given turn. And then the warlord, who is a jerk. But so everybody draws one of those. You draft it, so whoever starts gets to pick first, and then you draft around. So there's a little bit of an element where you can kind of guess who has what based on where you drew it, but then again, there's always at least one that's been pulled from the deck, and sometimes more if you're playing with less players.
Yeah, and that's face down, so only the first player is going to know who's not in that round. So that's another reason to covet that first player marker a little bit. It gives you that little bit of strategic edge. Because every time it goes down to another player, they have that many less guesses as to who's hidden and who picked first.
Yeah, exactly. So and sometimes I find that it makes sense to be the first player a lot, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on where you are in the game, and what your style of play is too. But basically, as you go along, you're going to build district cards with the gold you pull, and the point of the game is to get 8 district cards. There's various colors. Each of them has a different cost. You get bonus points based on, like, if you're the first person to build all of different colors, or if you have certain types of districts.
Yeah, if you're the first one to get the finished 8.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually played this game where we went to 8, because someone will pull out that building that ends the game at 7.
The bell tower.
Yeah. And everybody seems to be happy with that.
Yeah, it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
But remember, even when you build the 8 buildings, it's possible to still lose the game if those buildings are very small point values.
It's true. It's a victory point game, so it's not, I got there first. It's all about getting enough points.
Yeah, and then there's benefits if you get multiple colors, one of each building, and then there's also the purple cards, which dramatically change the game, those wild cards.
You mean like the one where if you have the crown, you have to say, "Thanks, Your Excellency," or else you lose your turn?
Oh my god, that was so annoying.
That was the best card ever!
Oh.
I had that card, and we went around, and everyone said it.
Except for Dan!
We were playing a game, and I had it. I had victory, and when I put the card down, I was so happy, and Chris shut me down. He's like, I'm sorry, what, did you not address me properly? That was so annoying.
But it was the best because Kim and I were looking at each other, we're like, is he gonna?
He's gonna say it?
We're waiting.
We just we actually paused to wait to Dan say it, and he didn't say it.
If you would have looked up, you would have seen us just like waiting for it.
Oh my god, that was annoying. Then I got my money robbed the next turn, so I couldn't finish it.
It actually makes you feel like you're, back then in a city with like thieves and kings and stuff like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like it because it's got this backstabby element, but you don't always know who you're backstabbing. You can kind of guess, but you're like, I'm going to assassinate the king, but you don't necessarily know who the king is.
And that's one thing that I like about the game. It's if you keep getting robbed or killed, it's actually more random. Like, people will take it personally, but it's actually not, because you're killing a role, not a player. So if you have 7 buildings, I have to hope I know who you're going to pick if I want to shut you down. So it's kind of a nice element for that.
Yeah, and every now and then someone have like 10 gold out, some huge amount of gold, and you're like, I want to rob that guy. Who is he? And you're like, okay, it must be the bishop. And you're like, no, it's not the bishop because the bishop has no money. Damn, So you can think you have a good strategy in place, but there is that random element of luck in there, which really makes the game, it's more fun, and then people don't get so mad.
Yeah.
So I like this game a lot. I think it's a great, for any group of people, and it plays a lot of people, like 7.
I think it plays up to 8, possibly.
Yeah, and they include the expansion, which has a number 9 roll for an 8-player game.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, the box comes with the Dark City expansion, just packaged in. So.
Yeah, you have the Queen, which gives you that extra card, and then you have replacement cards for all of your normal rolls. So if, for example, you don't want to play with the Assassin, you can play with the Witch card. So you won't be able to kill another roll, but what you'll be able to do is kind of take their powers. So there's kind of a softening of the rolls, or if you take it this way, it's a variant, which is really nice to play. So how many games can you say play with 8 people? It plays with different roles, you have different buildings, you have different actions. The components are really nice little gold kind of plasticky kind of tokens.
Yeah, they're plastic, they look kind of goldish, but they're not cardboard, and that's the important part.
Yes.
You're not getting cardboard chits. Although, again, I would always, if Dan's got his gold coins with them.
I was going to say,
with those.
Yeah, the Mused Fable coins definitely work well for this game as well. Like I said, the coins were the only thing that I was looking at them and go, why do we get buttons?
Yeah, yeah. It's a small game too. It packs up really nice and easy, and it's I don't actually remember the price off the top of my head. I think it's $25.
Yeah, it's $25, and I definitely recommend. This is a great game to get at your local game store because it's something you can break out, learn very fast, and get a couple of people to jump on the game. But if your local game store doesn't have it in by chance, you can always jump online, check out Mini Market, cool stuff. They always usually have them in stock.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'm going to say buy it. I bought it. I've been playing it a lot lately. Borderline addictive. Probably don't get it out enough for it to reach quite that level, but we could play it multiple times and I'd be totally happy with it.
Yeah, this is definitely... I own this game. I've shown it to a lot of people. My play of this has actually caused other people to buy it, so I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, it does definitely have an addictive quality. I haven't come across somebody who hasn't played it and then probably gone out and buy it afterwards. Like I said, you have that standard set of rolls, which are really fun. Then you have those variant rolls, which are fun. The buildings are pretty diverse. The only thing I would say is the card quality is a little weak, especially around the roll cards, because this is kind of a card drafting game, so those cards will be passed around, and since the cards have black borders, you really do see the little cracks, dents, and dings that happen to them, so you might want to sleeve those up. But otherwise, this is definitely an addictive game.
I would say it's definitely a buy game. Fantasy Flight, automatically endorsement. I always love their products. But that being said, the fact that it's such an easy game to play, the victory point scoring is very easy to track. There's not huge numbers. Nobody's winning with a 95-point score. It's definitely a fun game, and if you can get those enhanced coin components, even better. But I would say it's definitely a must-buy.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It's definitely a must-buy. I like playing this game, and when Chris taught us to play it, that same day, 5 minutes after he taught us, we just bought it, because it was so much fun, and I like the whole randomness of it, where you can play a game and be like, okay, let's play a game. Oh, look, this time I'm the king, And first round, when the assassin says, okay, I'm going to kill the king, and I'm like, shoot, now I can't play. Because when you're dead, you can't notify it, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
if you're dead,
you don't.
Yeah, you don't actually show your...
Yeah, which is awesome. I like that, because it makes people think you're still in the game, but then you're not.
So that is what's been on our table this week. Next up, our in-depth review of the brand new first game from Tom Vassell and Steve Avery, Nothing Personal.
And now for the feature review.
Alright, so this week we're looking at Nothing Personal. It's a game by Tom Vassell and Steve Avery. Now, I just gotta note, I wanted to hate this game. I wanted so bad to hate this game. Tom Vassell runs the Dice Tower. He knows his stuff, no questions about that. But he's always, looking at other games. He's down talking components or just blowing past things. So when we got our hands on this, I was gunning to just tear this game apart. And what really surprised me the most was it was really fun. And the thing is, this game is actually a solid gameplay experience too. When you go, there's going to be 5 turns, and in total, each turn has 5 different phases. It starts out with the commission. In the beginning of the game, everyone's going to get dealt 4 influence cards. You're going to be playing these cards to take control of different gangsters. You'll see that there's con men, there's hitmen, there's gamblers, and then there's enforcers. Oh, I'm sorry, actually thugs. What you're going to be doing is you'll be playing a card. It might say place 2 influence on a thug and 2 on a hitman. Or another card might let you place 3 on any type of gangster. You're going to be placing these chips, and whoever has the most chips of their family on that gangster is going to be controlling them. As the turns go on, each person will be putting more and more chips to try to get control of the best people on the board. After 3 full rounds of playing influence cards, everyone's done and you move on to the crew phase. Now this is when you resolve the gangsters. During this point, each gangster has special abilities and his position inside the mob gives him abilities too. Like take for example, when you're the underboss, you get to draw an influence card. And the counselor, you get to place 3 neutral influence on any other mobster. So this way you can make deals too, going, hey Anthony, you want to keep this guy? Well, if you don't give me any money, I'm going to put neutral on him, you're going to lose control. Now, the hierarchy goes all the way up to the capo. The capo is great because you get to wear the ring. Not only that, but you also get to break all ties. So you really do feel like a mob family boss. As you're going to work your way down, you're going to also be collecting respect, which is the victory point total for this game, and the cash. And now I got to say, the cash is great. It's these big, thick, chunky bills. I mean, I feel like about 10 of them in a stack is an inch thick. These components are top notch. And the best part of the ring, it's actually metal. Now after that, you're going to go on to the fence. When you're in the fence phase, you're going to draw influence cards based on how many gangsters you control. What's nice about this mechanic is, if you're not in the lead, if you're slipping behind and you're losing control of gangsters, you're going to get to draw more cards. So you get a chance to catch up. From there, you go on to the feds. This is when gangsters that have the most notoriety are going to prison. So if everyone's gunning for the capo, and he has, let's say, for 5 players, 11 or more influence, he's going to jail. So what's nice is, it's not a constant fight for the same guy. You might be trying to go for the same positions, but people will be going to jail and changing up the board. Once somebody goes to jail, they're going to move away from the board into the prison area, and someone that's beneath them is going to move up. And again, the thing that gives you that nice mobster feel, based on which spot they're going to, is who decides what does it. So you may be the capo, but whoever becomes the enforcer is decided by the underboss. So even though you're the capo, you don't get to make all the decisions. So everyone gets to feel a taste of power. Then from there, you go on to the family. This is when you're filling all the empty spots and new mobsters are making it to the board. So what's nice is it's an ever-changing field, and you're not just constantly sticking to the same areas. Once that's done, you're moving that turn marker down to bookkeeping. What's nice about this game too is it's not just a little track you're going along. You're actually leaving these marks on the bookkeeping to know that turn 1 is done. You're going to break out the next check mark. You're going to go down these turns again. The play is really simple and quick, and it's a really fun game. Now let's see what everyone else has to say about Nothing Personal.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I was in the same boat as Dan when I first saw this game. I wanted to dislike it based on nothing I'd ever read or seen about it. I mean, the only thing I really knew about it was a game that involved a lot of backstabbing and interaction on a level that could make some people angry. This is what I'd heard.
A little bit.
A little bit angry. So that's what I was coming in with. And there's some games like that I don't like because they're not funny. You know, they're not. You need that humor. You need the ability. The game needs to carry it along. It can't just be like, yeah, you're literally going to stab each other in the back for an hour and a half, and then good luck talking to each other tomorrow. This game manages to meld all that really well together. And one more thing too that we mentioned is there's these really nice family cards that you get at the beginning of the game. They're sitting in front of you, and they basically have all the information you need on them in terms of actions you can take throughout the game that are not listed on the cards. So you can make a move, which basically means if you control one of the gangsters on the board and you want to move up, and there's arrows on this board, so it shows you where you can move. And in situations where you're filling a space, it'll tell you who fills that space, who decides who fills that space. But if you're making a move, you can go anywhere that arrow points from your slot. So if you're, say, in the first guy slot, you can move up to the enforcer slot. It's right above it. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to roll the black die, and you're going to add the
respect to the mobster you are, and you have to beat the respect to the mobster you want to become. So if you're moving from the first guy to the enforcer is a 6 value spot.
Yeah. So if you had, say, 3 respect on that character card, you'd need to roll a 4 to get it up there. And then the black die is going to have it's numbered, and it has a ring for the 6. If you get the 6, you get automatic success. If you win, you get 4 respect, and you're going to move up. The person that you targeted loses 4 respect. So it's not just, hey, I'm moving up and maybe I'm getting more points. It's, I'm hurting this person.
And I like the fact that the Kappa ring is the critical hit on that dice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And the critical failure is the knife.
Yeah, that's always bad.
Which means you lose. If you roll the knife on a fail roll, then you automatically lose and you're killed. So that's not good.
Character.
Yeah.
At least your character's killed.
Your character's killed. I mean, we're not going to take you out back.
You'll be sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.
Or at least your mafia stereotype will be.
Yeah, exactly. And that character's gone. The whacking a gangster is, of course, sleeping with the fishes. You're going to take them out. It's the same idea as the making a move, except this time you're getting a red die. It has a bunch of symbols on it. There's
all combat symbols like knives,
and
guns, and
there's a handgun, 2 handguns. There's
I
an
think a
assault
Tommy
rifle.
gun. Yeah.
And it's the same idea. You roll. It's you have to roll high enough on that die. I think it's the top 4. If you equated them to numbers, you'd have to roll it 3 through 6.
Yeah, it's basically a 2 out of 3 chance.
Yeah, so like Summoner Wars, if you're trying to hit.
Yeah.
If you roll the knife, again, your character dies. But the cool thing about the game is that you can re-roll any die at any time with $10.
And what's really nice about it is any player can do that. So you're trying to kill me, I can pay $10 to make you re-roll. So you can basically buy a second chance at life. Or let's say you're taking out Chris. Chris goes, hey Dan, I'll give you a couple of my influence cards if you keep me alive. I can pay to force you to re-roll even though I'm not involved in what you're doing.
Yeah, so we had a couple times, I think yesterday, was it? Chris was trying to roll something, and we just poured money into it.
Yeah, he was trying to kill me.
Yeah, that's right. He was trying to kill you. It was like 8 rolls, right?
Yeah.
And everybody just dumped all of their cash in it. You used up your money on the couple times he actually got it.
Yeah, and I mean, now, there's one thing we just got to address in this game. There is a mechanic in this game that I love and a lot of people can easily hate. This is a game where you can make deals, threats, promises at any given time, and none of them has to be followed through. All you're doing is making enemies if you don't, but it can be like, Chris, I will give you $20 to kill Anthony. Done! He kills you. Where's my money? What money? And it's completely legitimate in this game. So people were making deals to murder me and then not following through because I survived.
The only thing, though, is with the blackmail, if you tell somebody to murder them, they have to, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and which is another great thematic thing. There's a blackmail coin that you can drop on somebody where if they do not fill the condition that you state, they don't get to perform the action, only via blackmail. Any other time, somebody's only as good as their word.
Yeah. There's a variant, too. We're just reading this in the book, where you can make all deals binding. If that makes you uncomfortable, the whole, like, yes, no, just screwing with you. You can change it where everything's binding.
No, pass on that, man.
Yeah, it's just more traditional that way. It's just, something you're playing with. I don't think that would be as much fun. And, and honestly, it didn't really happen that much. Maybe 2 or 3 times per game. Because, really, you're setting yourself up to get stepped on a lot if you start back, yeah, I'll make this deal. And then just kidding. And nobody's going to make a deal with you anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, the best thing is Chris at one point made a deal with me where I would give him an influence card for $10. Normally you sell them for 8, and you can buy them for 10 during the fence phase. Chris offered me $10 for one of my cards because it was very beneficial to him. I was like, all right, cool. And I hand him the card. And then he just looks at me and goes, yeah, I'm not paying you for that. And I mean, like, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this game. Normally, that's a mechanic that I feel like would bother me if it was something a little more serious. But this game is just, and it's weird because it's monsters, but it's so playful with that theme. Like, I mean, take, for example, anyone that gets killed in the game, it actually says, sleeping with the fishes.
It's pretty fantastic. And then the cards themselves, we should talk about the cards. The vast majority, if not all of them, are game designers, people in the board gaming industry.
Podcasters, especially.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is a love letter to the industry, and so it's a lot of fun to see all these people that, we all know, and you all know, dressed up as mobsters and lounge singers and politicians, what have you, from the 20s.
And it's great because it's so thematic. Like Eric Summerer is Eric the Voice Summerino. And another great one is Tom Vassal is Tom the Insane Vassalini. And of course, one of the other great ones is the other game designer, Steve Avery, is Steve Averoso. And what's great is even the mobsters have their own unique powers. So take, for example, Steve Averoso, he can steal 4 respect from another player. So if he's the underboss, when you get to choose what you want to do with him, if you control him, you can draw an influence card or steal 4 respect. And that's when the threats start flying. We were making crazy deals when we were playing this game. I had one mobster who let me get 4 respect, and I had to give 2 to another player. I used him every turn, and Anthony every turn was doing me a favor because he was climbing in that respect.
Yeah, and it didn't really work out for me in the end either, though, right? Because you just kind of surged past me at the end.
Oh yeah, I stole that victory totally.
Sitting in the wings, man. There's one thing too about this game is we've played twice, and nobody wearing that capo ring has come close to winning this game.
I tell you, man, that ring might as well just go with Frodo because that thing is cursed.
Yeah, there's something about front running, and you just make yourself a target.
And
which is true about Mafia to begin with, because the capo's always a target.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, again, I can't stress how fun this game is, which almost makes me angry that it's so fun. It's the only game I want to play now. There's so many great things on the horizon, and I want to play this game again. And it did go a little long. Our first game was almost like 4 hours because we were just laughing and making deals and backstabbing, massive accusations. There was more accusations in that game than a werewolf. Like, people were just like...
There was a lot of yelling. It was from people who do not normally yell.
Yeah, exactly.
So you basically get to play your best or your most dramatic, either, depending on how you take it, your Italian American stereotype or mafioso stereotype. And the artwork on the cards are cartoony, so it doesn't have that dramatic feel to it. And the group we played with 5 people, and everyone got a chance to really, ham it up a little bit. And especially our friend Mike, who was like, yeah, maybe you don't want to make that deal. Maybe that deal doesn't really work for you. So everyone got a lot of fun out of it. There was a little anxiety, a little tension about, I don't know how I feel about this, because there's a lot of deals, a lot of backstabbing, but...
Yeah, that was one of the greatest things. Anthony went to kill Mike, and Mike just looked at him, calm speaking, and go, maybe that's not in your best interest. Maybe the deal can be worked out between us. And Anthony's like, I'm here to kill you. That and me and Chris
have no leverage right now.
I have the gun, you don't. And another thing that I loved was me and Chris had a little bit of an alliance because we were getting trounced in the beginning. As soon as Chris was distracted, Mike turns to me and goes, maybe a deal can be worked out because this alliance is not beneficial to you. Maybe something else should be done between us. I couldn't believe how great it was, and everyone was just getting into it instantly. Even when somebody was behind by 20 points, and that's one other thing that I'm actually really impressed with this game, you can be getting wrecked in the first 2 turns and make a wild turnaround in mid-game. Just because somebody's in the lead by 10, 15, 20 points doesn't mean they have the game in the bag, which is usually the case with a lot of victory point games.
But that being said, you do have to have the right players for this game. It is pretty dramatic, switch, wise, and you definitely want to play into the game and have fun with the game. We had different players playing the game with us, and everyone was different backgrounds and coming to the game, and each of us kind of felt a little bit differently, but we all enjoyed it. We all came around to the game by the end.
Yeah, I mean, it is just unbelievable fun. Now, one other thing that blew me away is when we picked up this box, this thing was like 20 pounds, man. It was heavy as could be. I thought it came with a free brick. The one thing that is just so impressive is Vassal always talks about components. So we could not wait to see what they were like, and the components in this game are top notch. The cards look great, like the character cards. Yeah, it comes with these metal coins that they're heavy. There's only 10. It feels like 30. The character cards, great quality. It looks like photos on top of a 1-inch sheet. The symbols are clear, really easy to see. There's a color coding to the characters that matches up, so all the thugs are purple, all the hitmen are blue. Now, let's say somebody is a hitman and a thug. It's actually split in half color, almost like the magic cards that are dual color. And the other great thing, again, I know it sounds weird that I bring it up, but I found out recently a friend of mine is colorblind. The symbols on the top, it's not just a color-coded game, so it's very easy to see. And one other thing is each house gets their own chips with their own symbol. You get a cardboard box that has your meeple and their fat meeples, which is even better, and your influence tokens in it. That box you also get to use in-game to keep your money in, so you get to hide your money from other players. So at one point, Kim made a deal with me, and she's like, oh, well, I only have $4. And then she broke out another 10 to buy a card. And then she broke out 10 again to play another card. I was like, how much do you have in there? And she's like, oh, but I only got $2 left. And then immediately did another 5. It was so fun, like, having those hidden moments. It's just unbelievable quality in this game. The only slight nitpick I got is the respect track at the bottom. The fat meeples are great and thematic, but they're almost a little too big to stack on top of the victory markers. You gotta kind of lay them flat to really know where they are and where they should be, and it's very easy to misplace them. If you get a slight tap on them, they can slide over from 54 to 43 very easily.
Yeah, actually, especially you're gonna have times where you're gonna have more than one meeple on a point score. They don't fit together on that spot, so then you have to kind of try to find a way to lay them, and definitely even the slightest tap kind of throws them.
Yeah, and it's a 2-hour game that could run long. So, and there's only 5 times of the game where you're really going to be playing a lot with that track. So there could be 30 minutes between scorings at times. You could easily bump it and not remember that you bumped it or where your score was. So, score track, it's an issue.
And also with the board, where the board creases, there's some information that's really important, and I can see as you play many times, you could lose some of that information.
Yeah, now, Kim, one thing you noticed about this game was it actually had a bit of errata online, like a day one launch that a couple of things were misprinted or rules update.
Yes, the game board has some misprints, and they gave us stickers that fix the capo and the second man. Also, I saw on Board Game Geek that some of the rules are a little bit fluky, so stuff like the blackmail coins and what certain people do on the board, it's not clearly explained in the rules, so it's good to check up online on them.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first run, so hopefully they'll fix that in the future prints.
Yeah, and we got those stickers from Paul, from the store owner at Myriad, so they're not going to be in the box necessarily, at least not in the print we had. So if you don't get that from the store you buy it from, make sure you ask.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was great. This is actually another one of the games on the Game Salute list. So we played it at our local Myriad Games, where we picked it up on GameShare, and it quickly evolved from a GameShare to a buy for me. I mean, these components are top notch, and by the way, speaking of Game Salute, they also have Dan Smiley Yarrington in the game. So if you love Game Salute, you can always make sure he's one of your guys. And if you hate Game Salute, you can always just go straight for the Hitman and try to take him out. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line for me in this game is it is just top notch. I had so much fun with it, and the thing that really amazed me is I won. I won 2 games.
Yeah, you're a natural at this. I mean, I'm not surprised at all, based on the style of game that we're dealing with here. But
yeah, no, it's I'm no longer getting the Simmons spotlight. It's a nice little change.
Well, you said it great last night. You're like, this game involves selling yourself and your lies basically to everybody else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. and it's also pretty fun pitting people against each other, and the second anyone turns on you, you immediately make a deal with that guy that you pitted against him in the first place.
Yeah, and they always go for it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us are like, wait, no, he's getting in your head.
Yeah, that, and the other thing is my goldfish-like memory worked against me, where after Chris, stole the cash from me, turn later, I'm like, oh, how about we have a clean slate? I'll let you have this for $2. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And he's like, no, $2 is good. And then sure enough, I took it. Like, I didn't even think twice.
Yeah, but you forgot the fact that you took my influence off and gave that mobster to Kim.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't.
Goldfish? Put a nickel in the bucket.
I kind of like that, actually. Dan the goldfish.
Got the hair for it, so.
Oh, man, if only that was a stretch goal. But yeah, now, I absolutely love this game, and it is top-notch fun across the board. The only thing that could be a danger about this game is somebody getting their feelings a bit hurt. It is very easy to picture somebody taking this game the wrong way. I mean, we lucked out. We all had fun and a blast together. We were laughing, we were making jokes, people were getting into the roles, and once that ring went on somebody's hand, they were the capo. But
if you did not cooperate,
that was one of my
problems
favorites.
arose.
Maybe this isn't in your best interest to do this. But the one thing is, it's also pretty easy to imagine this being a game where like somebody gets a little hurt, takes it a little too personal. That, I mean, even though the game is giving you a little bit more of an advantage if you're not controlling the mobsters, you could feel that you're being targeted if someone else places influence on your guy. I mean, even though that's the point of the game. So one of the things we were thinking about is having a little discussion about, you know, how to make sure that your gaming group knows that you're not being targeted. If somebody's feelings are a little hurt, how to help them realize that this is not what you're setting out for. Because you want to keep your gaming group happy. Because as people leave, everyone else starts to feel a little on edge. Your gaming group gets cut down, and that's not what anyone there goes for. So I was just curious about what are some techniques that you guys view as a good way to let everyone know that even though the name of the game is nothing personal, that it really is nothing personal, and to embrace a little more of the fun of the games that they play.
I think it's important that you use language that fits with the game and that you actually do go ahead and play the character. So that kind of gives you a sense of we're playing a character, we're playing out a game, it's not personal. Also, when you're talking about killing another person, you're not talking about killing the person, you're talking about killing that character, killing that card. It's not you, Dan, it's that card. That card's giving you points. So that if you keep up with that language, at least even at an indirect level, they won't know it's not against them, it's just against that card that's doing some damage to them. So if you keep it in that realm, it doesn't become quote unquote so personal.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, you build off that and say that if you're gonna stay in character, you should play as that character where it makes sense what you're doing. So don't go chaotic neutral, basically. Especially in a game like this, where you can be like, I'm just gonna just kill as many people as I can, or I'm just gonna make sure everybody goes to jail, or I'm just gonna mess with that guy because in the first round he messed with me, when it really has no benefit to you at all. And sometimes it can be fun to mess with somebody a little bit, but if you go off the rails to a certain degree, you can really push their buttons to a point where they're like, okay, this isn't about the game anymore, and then it does become personal.
Yeah, and I mean, what you were saying before about like the focus of the game, that's one thing I think is important too. Even if somebody's getting beat up on, you got to remind them that even if they're not going to win this game, like a lot of people when they realize they're not going to win, just kind of shut down on the game. And that's when they go, okay, well, I'm not winning this anymore. Now I'm going to destroy it for you. I'm going to try to ruin your buildings and make you lose as many points as possible. Even if another player is going to win, they just don't want you to win for some reason. Because you took out one of their buildings or killed one of their guys earlier. A good idea is to let them know that even if they can't win the game, try out a strategy that you would normally view a little too reckless, or try a new pattern or something. This way they can have something to build off of. This way they still get to experience the game and get some more plan and more strategy on their side, instead of just shutting down and destroying what they set out to do in the first place. Because if you're not playing to win, and you're not playing for fun, you're not playing the same game as everyone else at your table. You want everyone to be on the same page. So if you're not going to cinch it, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, no one is going. You're not getting personally hurt if you're going to lose, and unless winning brings you so much joy that that's the only fulfillment you have, there's no reason you should take the loss so great.
Yeah, especially in a game like this where it helps you so much stay in character. Everything is so thematic. It's easy, especially when you toss on that ring or throw down one of these coins, to just really fall into that obligatory Italian stereotype, and it makes it more fun. And if you stay in that, even if you're losing the game, you can keep from taking it personal.
And as Dan said, you want to have the memory of a goldfish. Yeah. You want to play that turn where you're going to take a card, steal a card, play an action, send somebody to jail, and then just like, hey, that was kind of funny. Now I don't remember what happened next. Let's go on to the next turn. So try to enjoy the game, the experience each turn, and not really worry about the final results. The game is about having fun.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the other things too is you also got to, even if you're losing, embrace the fun of the other people at the table. Take, for example, when we were reviewing High Command, it was me, Chris, and Kim in a game, and I was getting destroyed. And at the end of the game, when we were counting out our victory points, I had 14. Chris had 47. I was like, well, that was a blowout, because in most of the combats, it was either me versus Kim or me versus Chris. So I was kind of like, well, maybe they hate the game, and they want me to hate it too, so I never ever suggest playing it again. But Kim actually stole the victory at the end of that with 53 points, which was amazing. And seeing how happy she was that she won, because Chris is very good at strategy games. 9 times out of 10, if it's a victory point or a Euro style, Chris is either going to get first or second because he's definitely got the mindset for that. He's usually 2 steps ahead of everyone at the table. So for Kim to get that victory and seeing how happy she was over that, like, I didn't care that I lost by that much anymore. It was great to see her pull through and actually, like, steal one from the king, basically. So, that's one of the things to keep in mind. It's like, you can't view it as in, like, I lost. You got to view it as in, like, oh, my friend won. So that makes it a little better.
Yeah, I mean, the first game we were playing, I think you and I were sitting there when everybody else was doing their turns, and I was saying, this game's a lot of fun to watch other people play.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I think the other 3 weeks ago we talked about Gloom, which the whole game tries to make you, you're telling a story, so everybody's involved, and it just dies out really fast. This game doesn't even necessarily have those storytelling elements, but it's so thick with theme that you're in it the whole time, and you're constantly arguing back and forth and using the accents and threatening each other and making references to old movies. It's a lot of fun that way.
Yeah, that being said, you definitely want to manage the game group that's coming to play this game. If you know there's a game player that gets a little too intense or is a little too sensitive, you may want to introduce the game pretty slowly, walk them through a turn so that they know what to expect, and then there's a lot of player interaction. So there is a lot to manage here. You're managing different relationships, you're managing the mobsters you have, you're managing your money, so there is a lot to keep track of. So the game may not be for everybody. You definitely want to find the right group. On the back of the box, it does give you a warning. This is not a co-op game. This is a game where you're going to be playing against each other. But it's really trying about having the experience. And I think we really enjoyed probably most trying our mafia stereotypes, voices, and things. So that was a lot of fun.
I don't win at too many games, and I'm fine with that because when it comes to board games, I just play it for the fun of it. Like, for the Nothing Personal game, I didn't quite get it when I was playing it. It was a little too confusing for me. But I saw everyone else having fun, so, like, I was trying to get into it more. It was a little hard, but I was trying to get into it more, having a little bit of fun, trying to screw over Dan. But then I felt bad for doing it, so I try not to screw anybody else. But when it comes to board games, if I see people having a fun time, and if it's a game that really piques my interest, and I'll just enjoy playing it.
Yeah, that was one thing that was definitely a blast about this game. Like, you actually did really good. You came back really strong towards the end of the game. You climbed a lot of points quick. Because we saw at one point you started going, oh, well, if I'm not going to get it, it doesn't really matter. But then you got into it a little more, you gave it your go, and that really actually changed things around. You almost doubled your points towards the end, and I think you even ended up taking, like, second place or something, which was really nice.
No, I got third place. He got second place.
Yeah, he had a few bucks left in that box, the hidden account.
I used up all my money for Chris's rolls.
Because you wanted to be murdered.
Yeah, exactly. And then I felt bad after that. I was
That's
like,
why
oh.
I got all dog pals, so I got 4 cards at the end, which is 3 points.
Well, remember, we weren't killing Dan. We were just taking out one of his characters.
All I know is you can't take out Dan Corleone. Podcast.
I would have to read it a must play. I don't know about a buy, but I definitely think that people should at least try and play this once. See how they think.
Yeah, I would say buy. I mean, for me, I don't even like necessarily these kinds of games very often. I enjoy them with the right people, but I don't get as excited, say, for example, for, a game like Battlestar with the trader mechanic, or, I definitely don't like games like Cutthroat Cavern.
Yeah, this was like the first gacha game I ever saw you play, actually.
Yeah, and because it's not that I don't like them necessarily, I just generally avoid them because maybe the group's not right or I'm not in the right mood for it. And I'll be honest, at first I played this because we were going to review it. And then when you wanted to play a second time, I'm like, heck yeah, I want to play this again. That was really fun. So it kind of snuck up on me. I really didn't expect to like it. I expected to play it and review it and probably not like it all that much and be okay with that. But I honestly like it a lot. Like, if I was going to own one gacha game, this would be it.
Kingpin Chris?
So, the one thing about this game is it definitely plays better with more people. So if you can, play with 5.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have that really kind of communal kind of feel to the game. And when we played 4 and we played 5. 5 I felt played a lot better, especially at certain points. You're going to kind of team up at moments, and if the two top players are teaming up together, the other two are kind of lost a little bit. So having that extra person in there to kind of break up the people who are kind of head leading the game is always a good option.
Yeah, like because in a 4-player game, it usually does become a 2-on-2 at times. But in the 5-player game, nobody wants to be that odd man out, so they're going to offer better deals. Or it's like, oh, I'll give you $5. I'll give you 2 influence cards and $10. All right, cool, I'm in.
There's definitely a lot more willing to deal in it, and that game went a lot longer.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That was like 4 hours with the extra player.
Yeah, but I feel like 2 hours I was just laughing nonstop over the bad jokes.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't rushing it at all. It was pretty funny. And the last like round or two, I think we rushed through.
Yeah.
To finish it up because it was getting late. But it's like you're saying, Chris, with 5 players, it was not a different game, but the way you interacted with people is a little different because you knew at any point, no matter what you did, if you aligned with somebody else is going to,
Oh yeah.
You're creating an alliance by building your own.
Absolutely. So I would recommend it with 5 players. I think it plays best with 5. I really can't see playing with 3. I don't know. We haven't had a chance to play with 3 yet. But yeah, 5 players. Especially it makes it more of a party game where you're not really feeling so directed, which is if it's only 3 people. So I would definitely try for a play. You have to make sure that you have the right group of people to play this with. If you don't have 5 to play this with that have that right personality, it may not be for you. So play with some friends, try to find the right group, and then if you couldn't find the right group, buy it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it's so hard to find a criticism on this game. I mean, I'm trying, man. The coins are too heavy? That's perfect. The only downside is, once you put all the components back in the box, it doesn't quite fit perfectly. The victory track point keeper could be a little bigger, but it's such minute things compared to the fun of the game. I mean, Tom Vasel and Steve Avery actually really surprised me with this. I'm really impressed. I'm hoping he's making another game, and this way that'll be maybe bad, and I can finally get my digs in, but to me this is a must-buy. It's tons of fun, and definitely one of the greatest 5-player games I can find.
Okay, so that's our review of Nothing Personal. Hope you enjoy it.
This is Anthony.
This is Chris.
This is Kim.
This is Dan.
And until next time, we'll save you a seat at the table.